Right. Okay, so let's go straight in. So I'm Sunny. Welcome to my channel. Today I want to talk about the dark side of influence. We're talking about power, responsibility, and even one of the biggest influencers out there. You may have seen his videos, of course you have, MrBeast, and all that controversy and the impact and the negativity that's having to the youth. But before I go there, let me just tell you a little bit about who I am. So I'm Sunny, British Indian. I've been in the world of business for the past several years. I've got a background in wealth management, several different business enterprises, a physical specimen, been training for 10 plus years, got an online coaching website. We help people transform their bodies as well as their mind. And of course, you would have seen the Envol designer activewear brand, which is available now. So just a bit of context about me. Obviously what my mission is with this channel is to help the next generation, help them in terms of leadership, help them discover how to conquer, their fears, how to set goals, and how to navigate the world, because we are living in a very interesting space at the moment. And this is a time where we need good leadership and we need the next generation to be exceptional and driven and making the right decisions in terms of ethics and values. So you'll learn more about myself, obviously over the next couple of weeks. I'll talk to you about health, wealth, relationships, and how to sort of build the success that I have. The lessons that I've learned as well, it's not just been a straight line. There's been lots of challenges, and of course, that's normal in business. So we'll come on to that. We'll be having a lot of thought-provoking content, and we're not shy to say it how it is. So stay tuned. If you like what you've seen so far, no doubt hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, but more importantly, be meaningful. So if comment something that you like or you want to learn more about, or something that maybe you don't even agree with, challenge me back. It'll be interesting to see your thoughts. All right, cool. So with that being said, let's talk about power and influence. So when you've got millions of eyes like watching your every move, especially like the younger generation, you have to be held to a higher standard. And this is so important. So let's talk about the recent situation with MrBeast. So no doubt probably the biggest YouTuber, and his audience are, children effectively. And obviously with this recent scandal, effectively that trust had been mishandled. And the question is, what do we do? What happens next when, that trust is broken? And also the danger of having that level of power and influence within that generation, especially the youth as well. So let's break it down then in terms of what went wrong, why it's so serious, and most importantly, the responsibility that every influencer has, especially when your audience is children. So for me, like my type of content is for adults. So, if you're under 16, I have no interest in your eyes. Take that for what you will. I'm looking for people to help people who've left school leavers. They might be in college, they might be midlife, and they want to look at how to transform their lives. So again, that's my audience. And with that being said, I'll have to adjust my approach to make sure that the people I'm speaking to, how is my content coming across? How is the delivery? What could be the implications of, preaching X, Y, and Z? So that's more about myself. But in terms of MrBeast, he has 300 million plus followers. And when you have that level of influence, you're not just a content creator anymore. You're actually a role model. And especially when these kids will look up to you and idolize you. So with great power comes great responsibility. So again, I'm not that familiar with MrBeast. I can't tell you all of his content. I understand he's done some charity work, which I think is fantastic. He's helped out people in need, but I've also seen other things as well that I would suggest that some of these charities, prizes, giveaways have been within his inner circle. But again, I've not fact checked that. But ultimately, the issue in this situation was that, you know, his team, right? He had a best friend that essentially was leading a Discord community, acting as a moderator, and what was within those Discord servers was, you know, highly inappropriate, and we'll come on to that as well. I think the big thing that we need to think about here is, especially when, you know, children are involved, it's obviously like the small details, isn't it? It's the actions that are taken behind closed doors when the cameras are turned off, the private conversations, Discord, Telegram, they matter the most, because, you know, when you have a community like so, and, you know, these audience just want to get as much of you as possible, and, you know, when they're not seeing your videos, they're interacting with, you know, your community. It's so important how that's policed and monitored. So the drama all started with a friend of his, I believe, just going to check my notes, his name was Chris Tyson, and his role was a moderator, I believe, of one of these groups. And again, like with this recent scandal, with his friend, you know, moderating and sharing content, it was highly inappropriate, especially what came out on Discord. Here's the issue then. So I'm not going to go into the exact details of, you know, what exactly happened, because, you know, quite frankly, I can't even repeat that. But just to give you a high level overview, it was essentially, you know, like inappropriate images or art, if you will, that is not suitable for, you know, young eyes. And even like how the community was addressing the moderators, calling them like daddy and things like that. That sort of terminology is it's not for that place. So very questionable in terms of what happened in there. And I think for the longest time, when you're in that situation, I believe it's one of his inner circle that actually exposed that after the fact, once they left. He initially denied it, and this is one of the issues as well. You know, we all make mistakes, but in a situation like this, when you have this level of influence and power over a younger generation, it's important to address this and address this very quickly. The thing with the internet, once something's online, you're never gonna be able to remove it, and that's just how it is, for better, for worse. So initially, these guys tried to scrub the servers, remove the writing, and act like nothing ever happened, but we've all seen it on YouTube and everywhere else, Reddit forums. Everything is everywhere all the time. So nevertheless, it went into a full investigation. And obviously in that space, you know, these things can't really happen. And at the end of the day, what's quite interesting is the fact that the audience is the issue, isn't it? And I think what's quite interesting for me to see is, why is it certain people get cancelled for, say, talking on politics, religion, but then other people won't get cancelled and have a safe space to, you know, thrive and be part of the community? So it's interesting in terms of, you know, when you're part of that machine, you know, the level of protection you get. Diddy and his situation, that, let's be honest, we all knew about these parties for, at least for myself, I knew about this over a decade. It's only come to public, you know, to the public in the light now. And that's mainly been because of, you know, a recent drink deal gone bad. But again, we'll talk about that in another video. But again, I think ultimately what we need to think about is, when you're in an influential position, you're a content creator, you have an audience of young, impressionable kids, you need to think twice in terms of who you got around you. You have to audit your team, your staff members, because at the end of the day, at this level, you are guilty by association. You can't just let anything slide in that regard. And in this instance, you know, getting caught up in these types of situations, it really is unforgivable. What I'll also say as well is that we've had this situation, and then up next, we've had, you know, like these influencers creating like health products. So for example, there's been like cereal bars and, you know, lunchbox meals and things like that. And these foods are highly processed. They're so bad for you. and you should not be near this at all. And again, with this situation, when you've got, you know, probably 500 million subscribers or, you know, followers across all your different platforms, you effectively are the brand. You don't need the leverage of big corp anymore. You have a direct relationship with the consumer. And if you're putting out false propaganda in terms of this is good for your health, you should have this, just to compete with what's currently out there, you got to think about like the ethical implications to that as well. And it seems a lot of the time that a lot of these influencers, and again, we can call them all out one by one, but this is just a quick, you know, direct video, and we'll break it down further in the future. But again, we're messing with the health as well, especially when in the US, for example, obesity is on the rise and it's a big issue. We shouldn't be like selling our souls just to sell products and services to kids at the, you know, at their detriment. That for me is a no-go. And again, for me to step into this scene and just observe who's doing this, who's doing that, what's going on, and what seems to be getting a pass, what seems to be getting shut down, it's really important for me. And we have to call out what it is. I'm going to talk to you about something positive just to close this video, because that's what I'm all about. So for me, like I said at the start, it's about fitness, it's about health, it's about mental strength. And these are the traits and the characteristics you need to navigate life, because guess what? It is tough. It isn't easy. When things don't go your way, what do? Do you fold? Do you bend? You know, so what I want you guys to do and what I'm going to do to help you guys, I want you to check out the Involve.shop website. That's for the Involve brand. If you're into fitness, get yourself an outfit. Use my code. There's a link somewhere in the description. Do this. Send me a DM. And what I'll personally do for you is put together a training and nutrition plan. Because step one is building a body. If you can create the discipline to follow a diet, follow a training program, and be consistent with it, you can absolutely transfer that into business. Because guess what? That's exactly what I did as well. Check out the link in the description. Obviously, there's something there to take care of you in terms of like a discount. But forget the money. Put your money in the right pockets. You know, get involved with the brand if you're about self-improvement. You know, like I said, I'll help you with the fitness, the diet side of things. But think about when you're wearing a top like this that says elite. You can't just wear one of these if you're not up there. You have to be in that circle. This is an opportunity to come into that circle and make change. Again, I'm all about the positivity. Sideline all this other trash that's out there at the moment, and then be part of something positive and productive. We've got many more to come. This is just a quick fire video, and it'll be interesting to see your thoughts as well. Look, I'm not here to be liked. I'm just here to keep it real. If you don't agree with what I said, give me a compelling reason in the comments box. We'll talk it out. Anyway, until next time, we'll check in and sign out.